Hello, hello, and welcome to Awaken Your Human Design. My name is Moni. This is my wonderful co-host, Danny, and we have a fun show for you today. We are going to be talking about digestion, also called determination, part of your primary health system in human design.
It's a big topic, and it's I remember when I was first learning about it, it was all the rage. What is this? How does it work? And we're going to get into it. Just take the simplest parts first, and then call it in for an actual personalized reading when you want to get in further.
Yeah, baby step it and do it when you're ready. This is definitely something you don't need to jump into this before you're ready, because it is such a powerful transformation. So once you're ready, you'll know and you can start playing around with it.
Indeed.
Thank you to everyone who is watching and liking and subscribing and hanging out with us and commenting and asking questions. We love having you here, and let's get into it. So digestion, also called determination, is for you to learn how your body properly receives and processes nutrients, and how an individual digests food and information as determined by their design, sun, earth, color, which we actually we did that last week, and the videos for that will be posting tomorrow, so check those out. And you could see this on your chart as the top left arrow / numbers, and it'll be the medial, the most center number, and it's in an orange circle typically. Some charts are different, but very often that's how you'll see it.
Yeah, I have a trick for figuring out, because some are a little different. And then I'm like, well, which one's the thing? And then I have a way of figuring it out I'm not going to get into now. Anyway, this is about cognition. This is cognition. Cognition in the brain system is the firing up of the cognition tool. And so this determination, it determines cognition as well as health. That's why primary health system. It's the full system of health with cognition, and how basically your capacity to think clearly, to just put it in as simple terms as possible. So this will be good as we start to get into it, because you'll see, oh, a way to eat. Okay, that's sort of simple. And then, oh, and I also am best, my cognition works best in this manner, or if not best, it's a primary way in which I'm to hold myself. And if I get out of this too far, it's hard to think straight.
Yeah, it's very much, it's like the physical aspect of the brain and how your brain is receiving nutrients, right? Your brain, and thus by extension your body, but also how your brain is going to be pulling apart information, so it can kind of extrapolate outward.
Yes. And you'll see only as you get into the experience why Moni says, wait until it's the right time for you. And then just a very important mechanic about digestion and this primary health system is the fact that the food we eat, we want it to be healthy, right? We want to eat good food and all that. That's true. It's just that at the moment of eating, your brain is now in a symbiotic connection with your gut, what it's about to receive, and all the muscles, they call them sphincters, all the way down. There's a bunch of them that keep pushing the food down to your belly. And they're also gathering information and sending it through a neural network that we all know. There's a complex neural network connecting our gut to our brain, to our heart. And that's now been demonstrated. And the neural network in our gut is actually bigger than that in our actual brain. That was a surprise. And it informs the brain as to what's about to come. And then the brain is therefore now put in its proper place before the actual digestion of the food actually sends the calories all throughout the bloodstream and does all its work over the next half hour. This benefit is received immediately pre actual breakdown digestion of the foods with the acids in the belly. Now that's a lot of complexity, but it's also not. The moment of eating, information is transferred. It's required information. The brain receives it. And that's why it's basically how you eat.
Yeah, the vagus nerve connects into the stomach. It's called the vagus nerve because it's from vagrant, because this nerve, it connects to so many different parts of the body. So it's the vagrant, it goes to so many different places. So that's where the vagus nerve kicks in. And what is it, 80% of your serotonin is created in your small intestine. So
Wow.
much, yeah, I know, right? It's like a crazy thing. So much of our health and well-being and how we function in the world, it's the quality of food we're eating and how we're taking it in, and if it's correct for us or it's the opposite, and
Right.
yeah, you can see a pretty quick turnaround if you start following this when it's right for you. Like your brain can feel clear, your body can just feel better. You just kind of feel like things are running on like cleaner cylinders.
Right. Exactly. And then when you add in the fact that you took your time and picked healthy food, all the better. Just it's all good. The whole system gets informed, and that's helpful.
Yeah, it builds on itself nicely.
Yep.
Perfect. So next up, this is a chart. You can just find a version of this if you look up like human design, digestion, determination. So I wanted to make our own little version of it in case you wanted to screen grab it. We're going to go through each of these numbers separately on the upcoming pages, but this is just like kind of like a peripheral wide view. And kind of mostly to talk about that, like on the left side where you see like the 1 through 3, the conditions of eating compared to the circumstances. Do you want to talk about that, Danny?
Well, yeah, this is an evolutionary path. So look at this exactly like in coincident with the time frame of our, call it 120 or 30,000 year evolution from caves to the internet, essentially. I mean, right? It's like that's where we are. So the very first one, number one, is right at the very beginning, and it's in these are conditions in which you were able to take in food, and they sometimes were very harsh conditions, and they were very specific, and the adaptations to them had to be very specific, or else you died out. It was a harsh world back then. And 1, 2, and 3 take us right up to 1781.
So it's only after 1781 that like 4 through 6 developed, is what you're saying?
That's when we turned back right.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Well, but 4 through 6 wouldn't be, because you can still be left on 4 through 6.
No, but I'm saying
Just curious.
the middle one, the manipulative energetic, is the changing zone. 1981 is where we have the potential to move through 4, 5, and 6, but it doesn't mean that 3 and 4 as the manipulative energetic zone wasn't fully crossing over and reaching way back before 1781. So I guess that's a better way to put it. But 1781 is a big, because once we opened up tones 3, 4, and 5, tones 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Yep, sorry, 4, 5, and 6 were not open to us
Before 1781.
Yep.
So the layer deeper, because it goes gate, dot, line, dot, color, dot, tone, dot, base. We have future episode on tone,
Yep.
but just deeper levels of nerdery. But yeah, so 1 through 3 is basically these conditions that somebody has to eat in, whereas 4 through 6 on the top, those are more circumstantial. Do you have anything to say on the circumstantial ones?
It's the names say it. These are circumstances in which we actually will take in stuff. I'm a 4th color, calm, instead of nervous. And that just is a circumstance I have to create. It's not quite the conditions. I have to create circumstances. I'm not concerned about the conditions so much. I could be on a boat. I could be in a cave. As long as there's sort of relative calm while I'm physically swallowing food, then it's pretty good. And if it's not, I notice my throat tightens up. Same thing, you have light, right? Direct and indirect. Your 6 tone, 6 color, with a left facing tone. I get that, but I'm just saying, and that 6 color is, you notice it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like food tastes better in the daytime. And even if I just put like my hand into like the sun coming through the window, I'm like, oh, it tastes better.
I imagine, and I'm willing to bet at the same time you have clarity in your mind. I know I do. I do some of my best thinking when it truly is calm.
Oh yeah, I do so much better if I can be out in the sun. Winter can be rough. So yeah.
My throat tightens up with nervousness. Does you get tightened up throat thing like with yours?
I don't know if like tighten up throat, I'd have to kind of pay attention to that. What I notice is if I don't eat in the daytime, because I'm a daytime direct light, kind of girly, if I eat at night, it's like there's not a sense of satiation. It's not like, oh, you're done now, you should stop eating. It can become gluttonous in like, oh, this isn't even fun, but I just keep eating kind of way. There's not a sense of stop, and it doesn't taste as good. It just, everything is kind of more lackluster, and it could definitely then affect you know, brain functioning and stuff like that. You know, once in a while, if it's like Christmas and the sun's gone, like, yeah, okay, I'll eat with my family a little later. And one day won't really hurt me too much. But was it like last Thanksgiving? We had like 3 different nights in 1 week where it's like a wedding and a christening and Thanksgiving.
Right.
And I was eating these like heavy Polish foods late at night. And my whole body was like, what are you doing? You know
Right.
better than this. And it's like, that's the thing. It's like, if you start eating according to your digestion and then you're like, oh, this is how I function, your brain is working, your body's working, and then you go back to like not following it, it's almost you get like a harsher punishment. Like, you know
Yeah.
better, you shouldn't do this. And my whole body just felt like I got hit by a truck.
Yep. Yep. And I noticed a thing, because I have left facing brain like you do system, that if it is too nervous, I'm hungry sooner. I'm just, no matter what, I'm hungry sooner. And usually it's a hankering for like a sweet or something,
Like
some
you're
quick
missing out
fix.
on something and it's not able to pull the nutrients
Right,
properly.
right. And it's like a quick fix of some sort. And I know that's not the best thing at all. So,
And then finally, I wanted to talk about here on the right side where it says 1 and 2 are primitive, rigid, 3, 4, manipulative, energetic, 5, 6, selective, passive. Can you go through those 3 separately?
absolutely. So primitive is just exactly as it sounds. This is our beginning of our evolutionary trend as human being, and as a seven-centered human. And so it's primitive is just it's a keynote. Rigid is a good keynote for this because it is rigid. And when we get into each one, the consecutive, the appetite and the taste, you'll see it's rigid. It's what was available. This is what you got. That's what you got, kid. Every day.
Hunter-gatherer. This is what you find, what you get, and
That's
that's
it.
what it is. And if you don't like
It's
it, you don't
rigid.
eat. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no refrigerator to dip into for a sense of relief, once a month as a special treat, you get it easy. No, never easy. It's just rigid this way.
Uh-huh.
The manipulative energetic is where we started to make a refrigerator, It's not the cold hot as much, but as soon as we got to touch, I won't say we had refrigerators, I'm just saying it changed.
Yeah, maybe they're salting foods more, or maybe they're cooking it in a different
Totally.
capacity. There's a
Manipulating.
shifting, manipulating it. Yeah. Cool,
Yes,
cool.
totally. And it created a brand new energy. And this is our marketing get stuff done zone, this 3-4, this binary. The 4th line is marketing the foundation, and the 3rd line is really forecasting the role model while it makes a bunch of trial and error of this and that. And it is wicked energetic and manipulative. It's designed to be that way. Same thing with kitchens when we get to environment. And then again, when you get up to the very top, selective. So what do genes do? It's called selection. This is where line 6 of every hexagram is about transitioning out of that hexagram into the next, moving from one gene to the next. That they got to tie together. There's not a hard stop, right? Basically, in some spots there is. It's called a stop codon and a start codon. But regardless, almost everywhere, there's no hard stop. So it transitions. And it's selective and sensitive about this transition. And it's just like a 5th line is selective about where it's going to be practical or not. Moni, if you and I had to compare each other on some kind of test, 100-question test, we would find out you were, 50% more selective about the words you'll use, the things you'll say, the places you'll go, and the stuff you'll do than me.
Yeah, because 5th line has to be. Whereas 4th line is like, you're so friendly. I just love them so much. And the 5th liner is like, who are they?
The 5th line's like a little bit, it's like, oh, I like that friendly. It's like, oh, maybe. And selective,
Yeah.
sensitive to this selectivity, sensitive to where this might lead. That's a forward-looking view. This is 6th, 4th, 5th, and 6th tone stuff. And it's the tones that really define this stuff. So yeah, it's just more selective as it relates to its finesse and the nuance and the sophistication, because it's got to be in the right direction, leading us on to the next thing that we transition into. So, and it's also sort of the hardest one to get used to. I can carve out calm if I really need to, just close the door. But when the sun goes down, there's nothing you can do about that.
No, it's just bye.
Right, right, exactly. So, yep.
Cool. Ready to mosey?
Mm-hmm.
So here we have color 1. This is appetite. This is the hunter. And if you have color 1 as your digestion or determination, you thrive on consistency and simplicity in diet and experiences. So if it's a left arrow, it's consecutive. And that means eating one food at a time in a sequential manner, and eating a single ingredient eating a single ingredient or dish per meal, and mixing foods can overwhelm your system. So this is like you eat all the carrots first, and then you eat all the potatoes, and then you eat the meat. It's a very like consecutive thing, one right after the other. Whereas
go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to read the right just so we go through both of them right away. Or no, you start. You say something about consecutive. And
too late. I already lost it.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, if it's a right arrow, then it's alternating. And this is eating one food and then switching to another, which allows your body to process each food fully before moving on. And this could also be a little snackier of just like, I'm having a little bit of this, I'm having a little bit of that. You know, they might not like leftovers so much. They have to switch it around a bit more.
And this whole process is so obviously the beginning caveman version. Killed a deer. What are you going to eat? Deer. How long? Until the deer's gone, you know. And then of course there was always foraging, because once we were standing upright, we became omnivorous quickly. I'm not sure how quickly, to tell you the truth. We might have been omnivorous. We were omnivorous well even before that. But
I think we were first would be like herbivore, and then eating meat. But then it was with the invention of fire and being able to cook meat, then we can get way more calories in at a time. And that caused a lot of brain development because you weren't constantly foraging for like nuts and stuff like that. Whereas, you can get a lot more. So fire. Anyway.
So you can see why you have just one thing at a time. And then you had another thing. And then the alternating part, again, there was no alternating back in caveman time because we didn't have the rightness. So this is for us now, post 1781. Back when they were doing it, it was just consecutive. You found a patch of berries, you ate the whole patch of berries. You didn't leave a perfectly good patch of berries when you could consume every one of those calories and give them to your kids and your little clique, right? You devour the whole thing. So it was truly consecutive with very little alternating, some, but not a lot. It's now that we're more evolved, it is now gets onto the alternating, and it is sort of mix it up. But you can really experiment with this if this is your dietary regimen, your determination, because if you're right alternating, then you'll find out how separate do I truly have to keep my food. Hey, some mashed potato fell in with the sweet potato. Maybe those two things go together. You know, you'll find out. You'll find out slowly but surely. But always start from a baseline in your experiment of being absolutely rigid about one thing at a time, and best you can try and break it down to even just one ingredient. That's going to sound hard to do, but I have my potatoes, and then I'm going to put some salt on my palate after the potatoes, and then that's a little bit crazy, but some people may want to experiment to that degree because it's one thing at a time. You know,
just
blueberries.
To see.
Well, there was no salt to put on your thing, you know, while you ate it. It was just thing, and you had to eat it. And then if you came across a salt rock somewhere, everyone stood around and licked it. I mean, that's true.
Yeah, no, it is, yeah.
So that's the definition of alternating and, you know, consecutive coming forward into our time, is try to keep the stuff truly as separate as possible. What about a shepherd's pie, Dan? I don't know.
It's your experiment.
This isn't this isn't my determination. I do know that Ra would always say a shepherd's pie might not be the best thing. Mm-hmm. But that sounds so crappy because I bet you a lot of people like it. You know what I mean? Their stew, their favorite stew with everything in it. It's, you know, pizza. Eat the cheese and then the crust, you know what? It's so experiment with this. And if it's one thing at a time, let it be one thing at a time, whether it alternates or is consecutive. So if you have pizza and breadsticks are separate and there's a salad, eat the whole salad. Stop. Eat your pizza. I realize it's a bunch of ingredients, but whatever. And you will see, the more you do it, the more you clear up, your cognition will change. And so won't your health. This leads to health. and robustness and resilience, even at the cellular level. So I've been doing it a long time, and I'm pretty healthy.
Hmm. Yeah, my boyfriend has alternating appetite, and it's been interesting being with him as he's been experimenting and playing with it. And that he never liked when there's too many ingredients and things. He never had an understanding of why, but he doesn't like too many ingredients. But he likes some mixing. Where it's like
Right.
he can have pizza and have some pepperoni on that and some cheese, and that's fine. But don't start adding like onions and sausage and mushrooms and too many things, or he's like, and he'll kind of just freak
Right.
out. But he's learned what amount of mixing he can do and what is too much. And yeah, he doesn't like
He
leftovers.
naturally didn't have a pile of things all mixed up.
No.
Naturally, because I do. I'll mix it all. I'm like, this is a great meal. I love, turkey. Oh, but the mashed potato, love mashed potatoes. Cool. Stuffing, love stuffing. That's great. Corn. Next
Yeah.
thing you know, it's all on one giant thing to make it easy and calm for me. And
Yeah.
by the way, touch is part of the way of that. So
Yeah. And with him, he doesn't like leftovers like the day after. He needs a couple days before he can eat some of the leftovers. So I just eat the leftovers. And
wow.
yeah, that's totally the thing. He doesn't want to eat the same thing day after day. That'll like mess with him. He needs to switch it up. And the other thing I've noticed is he will almost always leave a little bit of something on his plate, like every single time. And old me, growing up with like immigrant family where you like finish everything on your plate, like I would have been annoyed of like, why can't you finish everything on your plate? Why not just take less? And I'd like start gaming, and I was like, oh, it's like he's done. He needs to switch into something else, and that's just part of his way. Is like he doesn't finish his plate always, and I tend to.
His determination, you said, is right. Alternating.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those are like some
that last
fun
little crumb was his way out. He'd alternated the last one. What is that? I don't fully understand that. I bet you it's a thing.
Yeah, it was just things that I noticed. So I figured I would throw in a little things, pepper in from different friends and loved ones of what I've noticed with their determination as they've played with it.
Well, the name might give a clue because appetite is just that. The appetite part of what happens when you're this first color, wait till you have a hunger and an appetite.
Yeah.
Don't just eat. In fact, that's going to be true for for basically all the colors to one degree or another, but this one definitely, because they couldn't eat when there wasn't something. You know what I mean? They had to have it and kill it and eat it or forage it. And so it was the juices like a dog. The dog gets all crazy. You're about to feed it. Now you've been feeding it for the past 10 years. There's no doubt you're going to put some real good stuff in this bowl and water, but still they circle around and they get all this crazy. They have to do that. That's part of getting their juices flowing in their digestive system. And so it's the same thing here. Wait till the juices in your digestive system are telling you hunger and appetite. And suddenly, just so you know, this will pick for you the thing you're about to the things you will consecutively eat or alternatingly eat is a thing. Because the appetite is a directional guide. My appetite wants X, it wants this. And so if you wait till you're hungry, you'll start to see that, 2-minute long open refrigerator blank stare thing doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's like he almost has to like stumble upon what he has an appetite for. I'm like, what can I make for you? Can I cook you some stuff and you can take it for lunch? Like I would like to cook more for you. And he's like, I don't know. And it's like he can't tell me in advance kind of what he wants in a sense. So it's been this kind of funny thing. Like, I want to make more food for you, but it's almost like he has to find it himself or when that appetite comes upon him.
You know what? That just goes to show what I'm referring to. He doesn't really know. His appetite is going to tell him. The chemistry will tell him, just like everything else. Yeah. Remember, people, this is our chemistry, which is embedded and created through the genome. So it's a beautiful thing. Yep.
Perfect. Ready to 2?
The hunter moves to the gatherer.
So here we have color 2, which is taste. It's the gatherer. And color 2 is designed to be selective and discerning about what they consume. If you have this as a left arrow, it's an open taste. And these people digest best when they have variety and can explore different tastes and flavors. And they're open to trying new foods and experiences, but need to be selective about the quality. And then if it's on the right, then it's a closed taste. And they digest best by sticking to familiar, trusted foods that they know work for their body. And it's a smaller, more predictable range of foods that can feel nourishing, and deviating from these can cause discomfort or resistance.
And digestive issues, it won't digest right. It's a thing. It won't finish its process. Because the brain will keep signaling, I don't understand what I have. And the digestion gets interrupted when that happens. Taste, this is now we're sophisticating. Each one is a sophistication, a level up from the one before, but these are still in that rigid binary where everything is rigid and the caveman binary. So there's a foundation, line one, tone one, gate one, line one, and so forth. And that builds a foundation. So it's still there. They can still eat the things, and there still will be basically one thing and then another. But another name for this taste is also seasonal. These folks are best when they just keep moving with what's in season. Because again, in caveman times, that's what there weren't blueberries in winter. There was fish under the ice, maybe, or whatever. There was other things. There was the inside of tree bark. I don't know what those guys ate, man. It was a rough life. They didn't live long. The inside of tree bark. Yummy.
Tasty.
Tasty. Got a little salt and pepper with that. Yeah. So, but back to just the left open. Absolutely, they'll try something new. The right will totally try something new. The right-minded once, and they won't try it, and they're totally closed. The second it's even gets near their lips, they might just close right off. And if they see it, then they're closed, just immediately. And one could say, well, Dan, that describes like most kids. I don't like it. Aspects of it will, but if this is their digestion, then it truly explains it. And by the way, you'll see it on babies. If they have a second color, digestion determination, when you go to put the food in their mouth, they'll be open to try it, and then they'll spit it out if they don't like it. Or they'll be closed and you can't even get it in, Mom. The spoon won't go in, and you're sitting there saying, but you need to have some green. I've only given you carrots. Sorry. Give the kid the carrots. If you're really scared, go to the doctor every week and watch his vitals are fine. And his iron level is fine, and so forth and so on. So you can experiment with that yourself, but closed is truly closed, and it is meant to be seasonal. So it's just one layer up from alternating or consecutive, right? One at a time, still one at a time, because it's what's in season, but there might be several things in season. And so they would tend to be one at a time with several things in season. And it's all because it's part of the same binary. Follow the seasons.
And then isn't color too, this taste thing, isn't that it's almost even like mouth breathing? It's like, it's almost encouraged to like mouth breathe for these people to take in through like what the information and data is coming in through the mouth.
Moni. Right, because in the beginning we were talking about how your cognition will recognize this as well, not just do it because it's better for you, but your cognition will, when you are even in a situation, your mouth and your senses will taste the meaning of that situation in your nine-centered form in various ways. It's going to look darn strange if you walk around with your mouth hanging open all the time. That's going to be weird. So you'll figure out your own rhythm for that so that you don't look weird, but you'll see that we do taste our environment. So in the beginning, just smell. That's what that first one is. And the second one, just taste. I mean, on top of the smell. So smell moves to the taste. In the first one, we could just smell it and we were good. Run away. I smell a bear downwind, upwind, circle the wagons type thing. And taste is, you have to get a little closer to taste it. It's a little more sophisticated. You can smell it from miles away, but you have to put it in your mouth to really taste it. So it says things will be understood more as you put things in your mouth. People with this one, I would love to know how many erasers, paper clips, toothpicks, and things are in your mouth while your cognition is working.
That's funny. Or like chewing gum, maybe.
Chewing something, your finger, the thing like this, maybe.
Nails.
I don't know. Your partner, you keep your partner close, but there's very often a hand or something next to your mouth. There's an unconscious thing you're doing that you're tasting your environment is what I'm getting at. And start to see that and allow that and be like, oh, that is important to me. Yeah.
I have a funny aside as well. Recently, I've I love, you know, when you're on YouTube or you're watching a documentary about different celebrities or people that come up, and then I love looking up their designs. So I ended up seeing a bunch of stuff with like the NBA and Michael Jordan and this and that. And I looked up Michael Jordan, and he has closed digestion. And it was kind of interesting because like when he was going in to dunk, and like his tongue would be sticking out.
No way.
Oh yeah, that was always the thing. Like all the guys, like it's like Larry
And
Bird
people made
and like
fun of it. They
Charlie
noticed
Barkley.
it,
Or well,
right?
it's like, oh, you know, he's going in, his tongue sticking out, he's all, you know, but it's almost like his mouth was closed around the tongue, and then he's like sticking the tongue out as he's like going in hard to dunk.
That is so cool. So, I mean, that's the thing, guys. People, that you taste your environment. It's a subtle thing. Our senses aren't just gross, giant, blunt instruments. They're subtle. They're subtle and sophisticated. Allow that sophistication, because you'll be if he's closed, that's actually really good for a basketball player, because he's not taking in any part of that situation that's not going to lead to a slam dunk
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
intuitively inside his
best.
body as a chemistry. That
Yeah.
to me seems like it's a leg up for a 7 foot something basketball player.
Yeah, he was like 6'4", 6'5", I think. But yeah, he's also cross of industry, so that obviously makes sense.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, ready for 3?
Yep.
Here we have color 3, which relates to thirst, and it's the transformer. And these people process nourishment and experiences best when they align with their body's temperature needs. So if you have this as a left arrow, it means it's hot because your system runs cold, and the hot balances the digestion. So prioritize cooked warm meals. Even you can think of like warm seasonings like ginger or cinnamon, cardamom, and avoid overly cold or raw foods as they may interrupt your digestion. And then on the flip side, if you have that as a right arrow, if you have it as cold, it's because your system runs hot, and the cold balances your digestion. So focus on raw or chilled foods, or even stuff like lime, cilantro, mint, like cooling kind of herbs, and minimize heavy cooked foods that feel too warming.
Yeah. This is where we start to, we move to the second binary. Your hexagram is 2 3s and 3 2s. And so we're in the 2s now. So we've moved into that second binary, energetic, manipulative. It's excited. Think of looking at an atom, and it's all moving back and forth as you heat it up. And this is where we first get to that point where we start to see that the coming rave is yet again going to have a temperature increase. According to the voice, according to what Ra told us, 2027, as that starts to happen, there'll be a higher temperature than us.
Because heat relates to mutation.
Just as it relates to the mutation, and so people with rightness in them are already leaning that way. So I would love to do an experiment over 1 million people and see what is that average temperature of this right arrow starting here. Just to see, because in 1781, there were 3 things that changed evolutionarily with a bunch of things, but the big ones that we at least can go back and see is, one, we were a little cooler. We weren't at almost 100, 99, almost 98 to 99. We're just a little bit cooler. We were smaller. We were shorter. Me as 6'1" man would be a near giant most of the time to the people back then. And then, of course, we didn't live as long, just naturally speaking. And then those 3 things up their ante. We live longer, we're taller, and we're warmer. So going to happen again, at least with the temperature side. And this is where we start to see that. It's the fact that the cold is to cool down the overheating system. And then the hot is that relates to even the liquids and everything. And so raw foods, yeah, maybe out of the refrigerator, you'll start to find that, let's say you love certain raw foods. I mean, every once in a while, I love to just eat a carrot, right? Or plenty of things like that, a pepper, so forth. At least you don't have to worry about consecutive and alternating or seasonal, just truly one thing at a time. You can start to mix things up a little bit here, no question. But you could also choose to say, I do like raw foods, but let me get them high on the side of room temperature. what we're looking to do is get on either side of our body temperature. That's cool or cold is under our body temperature, and then hot is over it. But do whatever you can to not eat cold out of the fridge and see if you like that more. It's possible. Oh, you know what? I love these couple of raw things. I just eat them. I love a piece of broccoli and a this and a that. Put them in the direct sunlight for a little while and let them get energetic by the sun, energized, and they'll warm up enough. Maybe see how that hits you. You're going to have to experiment with it because it's harder to make things hot than it is to make things cool as relative to our body temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Most things are already cooler than our body temperature. Most days even are, mostly. And then when you get to the cold side, obviously it's just the opposite. And that's all it is. So and because the word is manipulative, you're going to manipulate your food to get it to this temperature, to do something with it, and you will be touching it, you will be handling it. Something is going to happen in this third line capacity. So keep third line stuff in mind. You're going to try this, you're going to try that. Naturally, you're going to find out what does and doesn't work. And just like in a kitchen, you're going to manipulate ways to make this happen that the rigid binary had no opportunity. They were like, I can't manipulate this. It's sitting there and we're going to eat it all because we're here, you know? So they were just straight up the opportunity to eat, they ate. Now it's as if we have more opportunity to prepare food, essentially. That's what's happening here. And this does take us right up to 17. The third tone color takes us right up to 1781 for sure. And then there's some question as to how much of our stuff went back in time some, and I say 3 and 4 were back quite a ways, a little bit more and more as you hit 1781. And some might say, oh no, hard change, you know. So I don't know. I'm not clear on that. I don't think it matters right now, but I'd love to have that discussion with someone.
Yeah, it's interesting when you know these people and you actually have a sense of their body temperature. Like I know some people on both, but especially like they're running hot and like we're like hanging out and partying and dancing or whatever, and they're just sweating bullets. Like it's just coming off of them. And you're just like, how do you run so hot? And one of these friends, he loves lime on everything. He will put lime on every single things that he eats, and like this cooling effect of lime. And I find that like so fun and fascinating that even it kind of crosses over into seasonings and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So you still have advantage of dietary circumstances, conditions 1 and 2 when you're 3. They sort of all add on to each other in this lower trigram. But now we're about to switch into the upper trigram, but we're still in that manipulative, energetic binary of 3 and 4. So 3 is like slashing it apart and putting it together different ways, right? And then 4 is going to tell everyone about it.
Perfect. Ready to dive into 4?
Yep.
So color 4 is touch, and it's the determiner. And color 4 processes nourishment and experiences through physical and sensory connection. So if you have this as your left arrow, it's calm, and they digest best in a serene, peaceful environment, which feels soothing to their senses. Eating in a quiet, comfortable space with minimal distractions enhances their ability to process food and experiences. And on the flip side,
go ahead. I can't go.
You
please.
You can go ahead.
And your ability to process that food is like really contingent upon you. You'll see it, you'll know it's happening because you'll see it as you realize your mind is getting clearer. In this calm space, you give yourself a set of circumstances that suddenly make your mind clear. And it's going to be the same thing on the other side. This is clearing up our cognition and making us be the mix of right and left. This is the beginning of Homo sapien intransitus.
So if you have that on the right arrow, that's nervous. So these people digest best in a stimulating, dynamic environment with energy and activity, and eating in a lively setting can enhance their digestive process.
Yeah, and this is good for a restaurant. Go to a restaurant, you know, be out with peeps and your friends. If you're calm and you go out to restaurants and things like that, you'll learn to just sort of try and make a little bubble for yourself a little bit. If you've got this nervous, you're the talker. Start talking, talk and eat, walk, talk and eat. You know, you have your boombox going, watch people dancing, whatever it is. Allow for an energetic environment. remember, as we move right, it's warmer. Warm, higher temperature means energetic. Things energize and move more. And so this is a lively environment. You're supposed to just sort of allow that, and you can go ahead and have some pity on your left-facing arrow brothers that need it calm when they can't have it half the time, because the world is generally noisy.
Can you
But yeah,
elaborate? Okay.
we'll just touch. I was going to just touch on the touch about,
I was going to ask about touch, so you beat me to it. Go ahead.
yeah, it's the literally handling of your food. If line 3 was totally handling the food to manipulate it, this is handling the food to see what's about to go down. You're not manipulating it so much anymore as it was being prepared, although you may have to prepare your own food, don't get me wrong, but you're manipulating it as a final step prior to putting it in your mouth and having it go through the recognition process. Again, you eat the food and there's a whole recognition process. You take a gulp here and it's about 4 or 5 seconds before it's actually in the acids of your belly, maybe even 6. I don't know how long that is. It could be as much as 10 seconds before it touches your actual belly. And that's when it's gaining all its information and sending it along through the neural network to the places it needs to be to help your cognition be clear. And so watch yourself get clear as you touch your food. And lo and behold, when I was little, I had this one and I touched my food. I was constantly handling my food. Aren't you going to use a fork, Dan? Do I have to? This might be the color of the determinative color of all the parents that ever had to say, use your knife and fork.
Stop playing with your food.
Yeah, no, I'm not done making my little pie. And when I am, I'll eat it calmly. It's a way to calm down. The touching and the handling is a way to sense that you are calm enough. It's basically creating a synergy with your food. It doesn't mean pick up all your food with your hands and smash it all over your face so you prove you're touching it. You'll just notice you tend to move it and touch it and arrange it and have it, and it'll meet sort of to your taste. And from before, smell and taste, that first binary, and it will meet up with that, and it'll smell just right, it'll feel right, and it's sort of just part of a process, and then calmly you eat. So prepare to handle your food somehow.
I feel like this would be like a good person that's like in a kitchen, like a chef or something, where they're like plating it all super pretty and like making like pretty designs.
Totally. I won't eat anything that I didn't tear apart with my own hands. I shouldn't say won't eat anything, but I just had chicken for dinner like a little bit before I got on here. And guess what? I open up the bag of chicken in a little corner where I'm facing that, and I pull off some, and then I pull off the bread, and then I butter it up, and I put it all together. It's not one thing at a time. And then I get it just right, and it feels so good. And I'm starting to think, and the next thing I know, I'm good. So I have to somehow handle it. And I would love to hear what others have to say about this determiner. It determines what you're going to eat. Even the first lines 1 through 3, colors 1 through 3, they don't really have to determine so much what they're going to eat. They eat what they're given because, there wasn't always everything available. This is where we are able to determine what we're going to touch. We determine the meal we're actually going to have. What are you in the mood for? I don't know yet, but I will determine that. And I will make a choice. And it'll be very difficult for me to eat something that I don't want to eat, that I think I don't want to eat, even though I can touch it and have calm and this and that, and I might even be hungry. I'm gonna have to get real hungry before that happens. And this touch thing determines it's what it's hungry for. So if Ika has the first one, he doesn't determine what he's hungry for. His chemistry basically tells him in the moment when he's finally hungry enough.
Yeah, the appetite arises.
Yes, appetite arises. This is the harmony to that. So the appetite's arising, and now I'm the upper trigram harmony to that, getting ready to transpersonalize in some way, shape, or form, and usually by saying it out loud or showing somebody, and I've got to determine if that's that. And he's like, no, it's already predetermined. I just don't really know it yet. My body's telling me what I need, but as soon as I'm hungry enough, it'll be like, no, I'm eating this.
So it's like,
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, like, do you feel like you get like data information by touching food? Do you sometimes like, I don't know, maybe I want that apple, and you pick it up and you're like, no, I don't like it. Like, do you feel like you get,
Totally.
okay.
Thank
That's
you.
cool.
I didn't even think about that. Totally. I was like, this is soft. It's, man, I don't know. And I'm,
Doesn't feel right.
just something doesn't feel right. And I determine it's not going to be what I eat right now. It's at this particular value, this color, where we determine to put stuff down. I'm not eating that. That wasn't a luxury we had in colors 1, 2, and 3. Certainly not in 1 and 2. 3, there was some. 4, it shows up. So.
Super cool. All right, ready to mosey?
Yep.
Now on to color 5, which relates to sound, and this is the listener. And these people process nourishment and experiences through auditory cues, and digestion is influenced by the sound environment. So if it's a left arrow, it's high sound, and they are best in environments with higher pitched or more active sounds, and higher frequency sounds stimulate their system. And then on the flip side, if it is a right arrow, then it's low sound. So they're best in environments with low soothing sound, low frequency sounds, which calm their system and support digestion.
Yeah, this is very similar to calm and nervous, flipped around a little bit, but it's just, again, it's a set of circumstances rather than conditions that you're setting up for yourself. One could say, oh, it's the conditions of a less noisy place or the condition of a, but that's really more of a circumstance because the condition is it's a place, and the conditions before were we're in a cave, we're at a bush, we're over a carcass, that's it. It's like, and we're here, and something else is going to come along, try and scavenge it too. So those conditions were always there. This listener is truly listening to hear that my appetite is there. And what was the second color? First one was appetite. Second one is darn, I hate when that happens. Taste. Right.
I just cheated
So
real quick.
what do they have? So this is harmony to the taste. I'm going to bring in the harmonies now because 1 harmonizes with a 4, 2 with a 5, 3 with a 6. So this is harmonizing with a 2. So there is a taste, and it leads right into the taste of music that you're going to want to have. This is both an emotional process and an intuitive process. It is empowered by both the spleen and the solar plex. It's not a mental process, that much I know, but it is a mental process that remembers how to get you here and where it's supposed to be and how it's going to work. So you're still tasting your food. You still have a taste for what is going to work out, and you won't fully be hungry until that taste is met. But you're still listening for it. You'll be listening for the gurgles in your tummy. You'll be listening for the sounds around you. Something clues you in for that it is time to eat. Something also clues you in for this is the right set of circumstances. I like the traffic going by is noisy. I hear horns beeping. That'll work for me because I'm high sound. I need to close the window on all that because I'm low sound. It could be just that simple. Like I don't even know. You're by a road. Just open the window. If you don't know what to do, start there.
Yeah, put on headphones, play around with it. That's what's so fun about human design is like, it's an experiment. Like, don't believe anything we tell you. We're just pointing out patterns, and then you play with it and see how you function best. And like, I don't know, I just love it. I think it's so much fun.
It's hard to imagine that what started as our taste now has a harmony in the listener. That's just it seems like a mystical connection. These are both projection fields, and sound projects out. All the other ones don't really project out, except I guess the light does, but the sound, we have to create it in a way. So the listener, you're hearing that it's time for hunger, and you're going to go and eat your things, whatever they are, and set up a circumstance where one is a little higher or not, and one is a little lower or not, and see if that makes a difference for you. I've always been eating at the office in the cafeteria, and I never really like it. Well, you're right low. You don't like it. Stop sitting with your friends when you eat at that particular moment. There's too much going on there.
Yeah. Go sit in your car, see if it's better, whatever.
Totally. In fact, it totally will be better. So this 4 and this 5, 4 and 5 was always had a special relationship with each other. They're the externalizing universalization of information. of all kinds of things, you know, so they're the responsible for that. And so 4 and 5 seem to have a lot of similarities for that very reason.
Perfect. Ready for 6?
Yep.
Oh, finally, we have color 6, which relates to light, and it's the watcher. So color 6 processes through visual and light-based cues. Digestion is influenced by the quality and type of light in their environment. So if you have this as a left arrow, it's direct light, and it's best to eat between sunrise and sunset. And they digest best in bright, direct light situations, as bright light energizes your system and supports your ability to process food and experiences. And then on the flip side, with the right arrow, it's indirect light. And they are going to function better eating between sunset and sunrise, and digest best in softer, more diffused light, as indirect light creates a calming environment for your digestion.
This one is also, again, rather obvious. And the reason it's the watcher is because only the watcher can see the right transition point. This is transitioning. So as it relates to how you consume nutrition, that's not very transitioning. I mean, you're just consuming the food or not. But overall, across a whole planet, this creates the role model that transitions humanity. If all the 6 color folks with a determination, either right or left, literally ate according to their determination, that would filter all the way back through as a role model through the rest of the colors, through the rest of the lines and the rest of the people. Remember, folks, this is a consciousness field. Cognition creates the capacity for awareness. Awareness creates the capacity for actual consciousness. And when you start getting there and realizing all the cool things that mind helps us measure and figure out, that beautiful little toy box, then suddenly, you know, we have a consciousness network, and we have a field of consciousness. Everyone's talked about it. Everyone wants to, quote, raise the vibe. Hey, this is not a very high vibe place, right? That's a thing. The watcher watches for that. And so, do you want to see clearly? Eat in the light time when you have light and it's direct. And when it's indirect, eat when it's indirect. And if you live in Alaska and you need direct light, well, 6 months out of the year, it's not going to work very well. So you're going to have, you know, make some fake sunshine in the stuff they use in a grow room. Not even kidding. Don't just plan on a white LED light. You'll find that you already don't like it. If I'm talking to you, you already know you don't like it. How do I know that? Because you got this determination and you're in Alaska. So at this time of year, when the sun's going down, way down, it's just as simple as that. But this helps watch, and it speaks to what the 6 line process is. It's always looking out over everything else, picking up its checklist, making sure it sees what you see in your food is going to be very important. You're going to see, you're watching. And while you're eating according to this, notice how you are a watcher. I don't know what you're watching. That'll be some of the life forces in your design, which change for everyone. But you'll be watching part of your own process in a very particular way that is consistent with also looking out over everything else. So, Moni, you got this one. When you're eating right, is there a sense of looking out over like all the things that could be?
There was definitely, as I started eating correctly with the sunshine, there was a clarity of mind that definitely came through. And it did seem like I was seeing more clearly, and I was more able to actually like perceive my environment correctly in a sense, and energetics and whatnot. It's definitely something there with it.
Well, you have watched out over the direction of this podcast in no uncertain way, in really clear ways. And it's something that's been clear to you. You know, not me. I'm just, as long as we keep it calm, I'll be cool, you know. But the watcher, I bet you there's various nervousnesses in the watcher, because the one thing about the 6 color is it's going to shift. It's moving back to a first line, a first color, a first tone. So something's going to change with it, but look at the arrows on your chart. And this one must be one of the easier ones to watch, because there's a natural boundary, just like the 6 color environment of shores. There's a wicked obvious boundary. The water starts there. There's a shore. You know, you can't miss it. There's a line. And day and night, there's a line, a little bit of dusk in between, but there's essentially a line.
Yeah.
So if you haven't been eating according to this and you're watching this show, just give it a try like a couple times, like 3 days in a row, and see if it made a difference in your constitution and how you digest and your thinking, your clarity, all of it.
Yeah,
This is one of the easier ones to see, in other words.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to pretty much say the same thing. I find people who have this, if you find out that this is yours and you start playing with it, even before you start playing with it, like when I've told people, especially when they're indirect, because we're so conditioned to eat in the daytime and don't eat late at night and all such things, which for most people is probably beneficial. But people who are indirect, like they can feel so conditioned and guilty that they're not supposed to wake up early, do the thing. They get a lot of those messages, and it's almost like you can give them permission of like, I don't know, try being nocturnal. And it's like a relief. I had a friend that was so relieved because he felt so bad because it's like, you're supposed to wake up early and eat this and do this and da-da, and it does not work for him. It's like he's a nocturnal being. Or my cousin who has indirect, and when I told her, it blew her mind because she's a nurse.
She saw it, right?
Well, beyond that, she was a nurse, she's a cop, she's all sorts of things. She's very brilliant. But when she was working night shift at the hospital, all the other nurses warned her, oh, you're going to gain a bunch of weight, you're not going to be healthy, this, that, whatever. And she said when she was working the night shift, she was fit, she was eating better, her body was functioning better, and how much better she functions when she follows the indirect light and like eating at night and functioning at night.
I can imagine that'd be true. Hang on a second. That's the type of thing that you'll notice it almost right away, and it's got to feel good.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
got to feel good to finally see that. So see it, people. This is a great one to see. You'll watch it. Mine was easy to see. As soon as I realized, oh, I do that, I suddenly flooded back to me was this memory of all the times my parents would let me leave the dinner table. And I thought to myself, how progressive of them, to let me do that. I lucked out with that. And now I know why I always left. I left. I just get up. I just get up and leave. I couldn't help it. Watch this thing. Watch all of them. Notice how they make every difference in the world. We're at the end of this particular piece of the show, but just take this in deeply. It's a very simple thing. Calm, not calm. Light, not light. Sound, not sound. Less sound, right? One thing at a time or alternating, right? All of it. So hot, cold, and play with it, and play with making everything warmer than it was before, or cooler than you were originally doing. And watch how little things, skin rashes will clear up, microbiome gets a little bit better. I don't know what'll happen. You tell me. It's just things clear up.
Absolutely. Ready to mosey?
Ready to mosey.
So in conclusion, digestion and determination is about aligning with your primary health system's determination and unlocks the key to optimal physical and mental health. By honoring your unique digestive process, you reduce resistance and enhance vitality. Experiment with your determination. Notice how simple adjustments in how you nourish your body can transform your energy and well-being, aligning you with your authentic design.
And for God's sakes, don't worry so much about the what you're eating. Just more concern yourself with the how as it relates to this part of the experiment. So this is good, Moni. We just told people about their dietary regimen in a fairly comprehensive way, comprehensive enough to start.
Yeah, I feel like we gave some good stuff and some play around with it and see how it is and see what happens when you do the opposite. I don't want to tell anyone what to do. Experiment with it, play with it, see how you feel better. And if you do, wow, I did that for 3 days and my head is clearer and I feel better and maybe I'm not looping as much, and see what happens when you don't do it. See if you maybe feel a bit sluggish or if your body is like, oh, not functioning well. That's the whole point of this, is it's your experiment to play with and learn from so you can make your choices correctly.
Exactly. Follow your determination, your dietary regimen, and watch your health get better. So let's move on to what are we doing next?
Well, do you have any final thoughts while we wrap it up?
Not really. Not really. We went through enough because all I can do is expand into new material that will just take up space is what I'm thinking.
No, it's fine. It also just gave me a second to get the next presentation ready.
No, absolutely. I think we described it really well. I'm very happy. A lot of people might not have even realized there's this whole piece to human design that is about these arrows and what they determine, our environment, our view, and our motivation. We're going through all four of those things, starting with determination / dietary regimen, primary health system, left-hand side of the body graph.
Yeah, next week we'll go through environment.
Mm-hmm.
So for part 2, we are going to be continuing our Incarnation Cross series as we make it through all the Incarnation Crosses, because I think it's going to be fun and I haven't really seen anyone else go through it in such depth. So we are continuing the series with the juxtaposition cross of listening.
Gate 13. Remember, folks, the name of the juxtaposition cross is basically what the gate is called. Essentially, it's the name of the gate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting. And juxtaposition, those are all your 4-1s. It's only 4-1 profiles that will have a juxtaposition cross.
They basically fill the little spot in between that allows the shift from the right angle to the left angle. Otherwise, there would be a hard stop and there would be no shift. So again, a genetic process as much as a now living process, because we live it out.
Well, thank you to everyone who is watching and liking, subscribing, commenting, hanging out with us. We love having you, and let's get into it. So the juxtaposition cross of listening is part of, it's the identity center, the ajna, and the throat are included. And it's part of quarter 1, which is initiation, and it's very much about mental inspiration. And the gates are 13, 7, 43, and 23. And it's around February 4th, give or take. And these are great listeners and secret keepers who often explain themselves and their breakthrough insights best through an art form. And then in the Global Incarnation Cross Index book, Ross says that the juxtaposition cross of listening is a very fixed process. All 4 1s have a very fixed process. And gate 13 has an inherent capacity to be able to listen. And it's all about collecting experiences of others. It's a very fixed fate, which can be very, very uncomfortable because these people come into the world to listen, but not to speak. And they have an enormous difficulty being able to explain themselves. And the 4323 brings definition, forming the channel of individuality. And individuality is very unique and mutative. And these are great, great listeners. They know secrets that no one will ever hear. And they are kind of a magical part of the Sphinx off to the side, because the listening comes off the Sphinx. And the 13-7 still carries the Sphinx's power. And then it's all of a sudden a shift to the mental plane with the 43 and the 23, which is individual and acoustic. And 43 is the sound that one hears in your head. And it's the sound one hears that says, I've got it now. But it doesn't mean that they're going to be able to express it out of the 23rd gate. So the right angle cross of listening, it can also be called the cross of stuttering. And so allow these people to listen without pressuring them to share. And that's a very big thing for them. So
ultimately, they'll share.
Yeah. And they ultimately find another venue to be able to get that out. They tend to find artistic outlets for what they have been listening to, and they're great appreciators of music. And it's the kind of human being that loves a good lecture. It's about being a good listener, and not being a talker is their heaven. It's what they're here for. And they fulfill their purpose for the totality of that role.
Yeah. So a lot of times people get a little agitated, or they get put off because they can't tell what's happening if the other won't talk. So if you've got this juxtaposition, please recognize that. Like Moni was saying, really about not pressuring them. As soon as you add in this channel of explanation, basically this channel of structuring the thoughts that come out as noise and get metamorphosized into language and an explanation, basically. Once we add that channel in, we left the direction of the Sphinx, which when 13 is there, it's very much a refining direction. We're refining how we're moving. Starts the quarter of initiation. So that is a refinement all by itself. We're refining from the old mutation that changed everything. Initiation starts something. So by definition, that is refining. And it's so funny that you add this in, and the very next cross in line is explanation, the cross of explanation. So that you can tell it's a natural leading to the other. But that fourth line, fixedness, this gate 13 isn't just listening, it actually sends out a vibration through the aura that as one of the primary role gates, it is our role in listening. It's 7 is our role in interaction with the other. And 13 is our role in the active act of listening or not. And starts out with empathy as a first line. So one must have empathy in order to really actually listen before they get fatigued and listen too much. It draws others to tell something to listen to. It draws it in as it draws them, as sure as it makes a direction, it creates a direction for others, drawing them towards you in their direction to go ahead and tell you something. So become the good listener. Don't listen to the conditioning that says you actually have to talk a ton. Find out who gets, unnerved by the fact that less words come out of you than maybe out of most other people in any given moment. And you see who that works for so you can find out who's right for you is a thing. So fourth lines really have to get this 4-1 juxtaposition must find the right click. They got to find their peeps, just like a projector does. They got to find their peeps because not everyone's going to be for that. They really have to be able to find the folks that listen to this externalizing over what they heard. And in this case, that they're willing to sit with and be with the externalizer that doesn't externalize nearly as much until they're truly in the mood. It's all about being in the mood. 4323, individual definition. If it's in the mood, it will be empowered. So they speak and they empower the rest of the direction based on what they were listening to. And wouldn't you know, all of that needs to be explained in the very next cross. And that's where we move to.
Awesome.
Mm.
So the juxtaposition cross of listening, it's the identity, the ajna, and the throat. And it is a conduit for transformation, absorbing experiences, offering clarity through unique insights by truly hearing others and expressing their inner knowing. The purpose is bridging individual and collective understanding, helping others integrate new perspectives and release outdated patterns, facilitating transformation by sharing insights that resonate deeply and align with truth. Guide by deeply understanding human experiences, sharing transformative insights through empathic listening, gate 13, authoritative presence, gate 7, intuitive breakthroughs, gate 43, and clear expression, gate 23. Helping others navigate change and align with their own truth.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool that it's identity, throat, ajna. So we need the toy box to measure all of this stuff. The listening does nothing if we leave it to a splenic intuition or an emotional clarity only. It's got to get up into the ajna for conceptualizing and vocalization according to the metamorphic capacities of the top of the throat. The most metamorphic part of the throat is 62, 23, and 56. That's their specific job, is a true metamorphosis of noise, sight, vision, and nothing, which is mental activity. It's nothing. It doesn't speak. It's got no lips. The top of the throat metamorphosizes that juice into language, concise, and it does it instantaneously. Look, we're talking now. I mean, it's an incredible thing. So that's about all I have to say about this one. I just love that the identity through a thought speaks. It's not just identity to throat speaks. That's the Sphinx. Think about it. The Sphinx is identity to throat speaks, right? And technically, sacrally generated identity to throat speaks. Grunt, groan, direction, direction here, direction there, because 2 points at the sacral. This is, okay, I see direction there, but now that I'm listening really clearly and I'm ready to externalize a very fixed thing, and there's at least 18 million of us on planet Earth, so we're definitely setting out a network doing this. I need my mind. Sacral's not enough anymore. Mind helps make the direction. So, but don't take that to mean mind makes decisions, okay? Strategy and authority does that for you.
Awesome. Ready to mosey on to the next one?
Yep.
So next up, we have the juxtaposition cross of principles. So this will be an interesting one to dive into.
I'm going to have to cut after principles, Moni. Something has just come up. Just
Okay.
start with,
Yeah, we'll just do the two. So the juxtaposition cross of principles is part of the solar plexus, ajna, sacral, and throat. It's part of quarter 1, which is initiation, which is about mental inspiration. And it's gates 49, 4, 14, and 8. And this pops up around February 9th, more or less. Juxtaposition cross of principles. These are revolutionaries ahead of their time, fixed on a principle, often human rights, who are willing to bargain even with God to gain a powerful ally. And then Ra continues on with this cross of principles, operating through the 49th gate. The 14th gate is possession in great measure, which is a gate that fuels the Sphinx, providing energy for the direction in life. And it also provides potential for great wealth. In the struggle inherent in the first step, you come to a point where you see, in order to move toward any kind of future, you're going to need allies. 49 is tribal. You're going to have to work together and fight or take life together. Ra talks about the connection with killing and sacrifices within religion, like animal sacrifices and whatnot. And the juxtaposition, it's a fixed fate of principles. Principles are about something very basic. We've shifted away from the freak of the 43-23, and we've moved into the 14-8. We step into principles. These people are always ahead of their time, revolutionaries ahead of their time. There are never revolutionaries who get to set the Revolutionary Council because they die along the way before the Revolutionary Council ever comes to existence. They are the forerunners fixed to a principle, and being fixed to that principle, they're not really balanced in that. Human rights are important to them, and this is the only cross that you can truly make sure human rights are protected.
That's the main principle of the nine-centered being. Movement towards beauty and communion. Human rights is beauty and communion, just on the face of it. We don't even have to really explain that. It's like explaining blue is blue. So this just comes off of where the Sphinx was just a moment ago. So the direction had to be explained. And now that we move to where the contribution must get made, it is now aided by the fixed pattern of 49. 49 is going to be very fixed on those principles. And this person's going to have opinions about that. They're going to have plenty of opinions about that. And they're going to formulate plenty of opinions about that. And that's going to be important to them. But when they're right and they're according to these principles, this quarter of initiation designed to get things going is about to make the contribution that is like an allspark and gets it into life, into motion. We start the wheel at gate 13 whenever we truly read around it. That's the beginning, hence the name initiation for the quarter. And I find it very interesting that as soon as the fellowship listens, remember, what did God do? God said word, right? There will be language, gave us the word, said words, sound.
In the beginning, there was the word.
Okay, that's the phrase. In the beginning, there was the word.
Yeah.
Okay, to who? To who? Us. Essentially, he was talking to his children, right? It's sort of basically-ish. And so this is the profound notion that 13 is almost like God part of it. And then 49 is us receiving the principles. And I just find it amazing that 49 is next. It could have been anything, and it's 49. And so 49, these deep, emotionally clear principles designed to become steadfast about bargains, tribes, who's in the community, what are our colors, what are our beliefs, what are our mantras, who will I marry, who is allowed to marry me, all of that stuff. These are all base principles. What do we have the right resources? All this stuff goes together. If anything's off, it's the principle that viva la revoluciones. Right? It's not I would like to make the contribution of revolution. Hey, I have an explanation. I would like to explain this revolution to you. You know what I mean? Maybe 51 would like to leap into revolution, but for what? 51 doesn't know. It's just a warrior. It just leaps because there's something new under the sun. This is a deliberative body. Look at all this action. We've got thinking, we've got emotional spirit, and then we've got the center column of the penta that drives the direction and becomes the expression of all groups. Think, feel, express that which is the principle after once God said, I give you the word. I mean, it's poetic, to say the very least. And they do need those powerful allies. Why wouldn't they? They let, the very first powerful ally, according to, the religion and the folklore, would have been God himself. So, that's a really cool ally to have. Everything else is a little shabby compared to that. So they're going to be selective if you think about it, just by the conditioning of that. This is a genetic proclivity humanity has to fix the principle into place that is designed to empower a direction. And that's powerful stuff. By the way, all of it was explained just a day earlier in the turning of the wheel backwards into the cross of explanation. Not even a day earlier. This is juxtaposition. This is like 2.5 to 4 hours earlier is we were explaining it. And now we're embodying it. Literally, we're contributing. Explain it, contribute it. Basically, just like God said, God gave us the word and then there was creation. And then we just recreated that in the very next gate. Now we got a fourth line ton of words. Trust me, this principle, fourth line juxtaposition, it's going to talk. Moni, it's going to talk. It's got stuff to say. It's not quiet like the listener. And what does it do? It creates and contributes with its words. It's got a throat, it's got a ajna, it's got a sacral, and it's got a solar plexus. This is the design of manifesting generation. We generate the world, and generating and manifesting, generating the world, both. It's a design of both, technically, right here with these four centers. So I like it.
Perfect. Ready to mosey?
Yep.
The juxtaposition cross of principles, which is part of the solar plexus, ajna, sacral, and throat, is about upholding revolutionary principles to drive individual contribution. The purpose is to challenge norms, gate 49, with logical solutions, gate 4, channeling resources, gate 14, for authentic expression, gate 8. And their role is as a catalyst for change, enforcing principles that empower collective progress.
It's that collective progress. Now, the principles still can lead to revolution. Selfishness and self-centered and seven-centered way and our old way and the conditioning can lead to the wrong revolution. Totally. But we're getting there. The higher principles of Gate 14 that does the empowering of the movement of that direction starts off with line 1 of 14, which is aesthetic beauty is where we want to go first because money isn't everything. So I can have high hopes that when you mix with 8, which says contributions are no good unless they're contributed to the greater societal good of all. I butchered that a little bit. It's the higher principles to the greater good, right? I forgot the exact phrasing, but that's what it is. And so, boom. This is a design of God gave us the word, we listened, we spoke, we gave a word, we created with that. Let's create. And it's all 13, and we're only at 13 and 49. Right? It's quite a story. Yeah, better buckle up. Hope you got some popcorn. Hope you went to the bathroom already. It's a long movie.
Takes all year.
Yeah. So the juxtaposition of principles, I bet you these are intense, peeps. All the juxtapositions are intense, aren't they?
Yeah.
They just have to be. But I would love to meet one. Maybe I have and didn't know. Pick their brain and get some chit chat going.
Yeah, I got to catch that Pokemon.
Yep. We need Moana back. We'll
get
Moana back. She'll find her
one. Yeah. Oh my God. So yeah, that is the continuation of our Incarnation Cross series. So we're just going to continue doing this for the next, year-ish or so as it works out. So I think it's super fun and a neat way to dive into these things.
I can't wait, Moni. This was a great idea to just hit the juxtapositions, right? Because we have to explain it slightly differently. And so it helps flesh out the whole of the system. I mean, dude, when you just put you and I together, we know almost everything as it relates to HD, and we can intuit the things that like maybe we might need to brush up on or what have you. It's it's an amazing place to finally be credentialed at and get to, and to have it be able to just, transmit through us in real time. This is an amazing thing, and it speaks much to what the listener then revolutionizes the rest of the plane with, and that's what we would like to see, and that's what we would like to do for the rest of you and humanity, is bring that revolution in the best spirited possible way, that meets our tribal sensitivities and the things that speak to love and direction. So
We got
boom.
a compliment from Coco. Coco, thank you for all your work. Thank you, Coco. Thanks for being
Thank you,
here with us.
Coco. That's awesome. Who
I
are
know
you?
it is fun seeing the same names of people. I'm like, oh yay, this person's here.
Coco, where are you from, hon? If you
Yeah.
have a chance to respond.
Yeah. Oh, super fun. I like doing this series and kind of breaking it down in this way because I feel like when you first get into human design, you see like incarnation cross and it seems cool. And that's like the first thing you search in to like YouTube or something. And there's not really much to break them all down. And I was like, I will provide that with Danny.
Yeah, the more we do this, and we teach ourselves along the way. It's an evolving science because we're an evolving species. We are evolving. It's incredible.
Mhm.
So,
And just bouncing off of each other and learning new things along the way. So, oh,
indeed.
Coco is from California.
No way. Hey, Callie girl.
Gorgeous. I
Thank you
love
so
California.
much. Yeah.
So
Bam.
awesome sauce. So next week we will continue with our PHS deep dive into, we'll do environment next week, and then we'll pick up some more incarnation crosses and kind of go from there.
Yeah, and hopefully in my own fixed pattern, since I have a fourth line in me, I can, in a nice fixed way, saying, whoever's watching this, help this thing explode. We don't have all the fanciest gadgets and bells and whistles yet, right? Or whatever, the marketing team of Russell Brand, but we're there. We're capable of handling just about anything now that comes in. And so we want this knowledge out. We want a better world. We want a better world. Teach everyone human design. Everything will calm down thereafter. So bring yourself in for a reading and let everyone hey, check this stuff out. It's really good.
Yeah, it's definitely so much of my intention here is just like, I just want this information out, and maybe if this information out, it'll help people. So yeah, if you want to contact Danny at dannyguru.com. You can email him, just like let him know, reference the show, and he will probably talk to you for like 3 hours. His Instagram is at DannyGuruHD. And then if you want to get hold of me, we have the Instagram of Awaken Your Human Design, which I will be trying to add that into my repertoire of what I'm doing, trying to manage the YouTube as a third line projector who is just stumbling into everything.
It's a lot. Everyone needs to like give Moni a bow and a round of applause and several other things, whatever's customary in a moment like this, because really it's like, it's good. Thank you, Moni.
Thank you, Danny. Yeah, I'm learning as I go, figuring it out. I need some help with website things and how to do whatever marketing things that I know nothing of. But the nerdy
Coco,
stuff we
maybe
got
you can
covered.
help. Like once a month, you take an hour to do something that's like whatever Moni says.
I just need
like,
somebody to talk to as I'm just like stuck in my head. And I was just like, I just need to talk
well,
at
Moni, give
somebody
her
while
your phone
doing the
number.
thing. I'm not giving you my phone number on the internet. Hit me up, whoever on the
It's an inside joke.
I know, because Danny gave out his phone number one live episode forever ago. If you want to hit me up, Instagram, Awaken Your Human Design, and we can go from there. Coco also is certified as a human design practitioner. So Coco is
Crap. I love that.
yeah,
Coco,
well versed.
yes, we should talk. I would love to. Yep.
Yeah, and they
Yep.
continue to the basics of the degree, but now getting into like deeper stuff. So I was like, oh, that's like perfect with like where we're at. Whereas like I want to teach some basic stuff, but I want to nerd out with that stuff that
Coco, do reach out, because I offer it's either a 3, 5, or 8-part series, depending on what you think after initial intake we just talked. But do reach out, because if you're going on to deeper stuff, you're about to go through several semesters of what school peeps try and pull you through. But if you're already proficient, I will accelerate that for you. And it's an intensified acceleration, and we just do it over 3, 5, or 8 sessions. That's it. And then you're done. You'll see. And I give you a certificate for that. If Danny G says you're good, you're good. So it's true, man. I don't know how else to say it.
I just imagine like a little like cartoon caricature of you with like a thumbs up, like.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, I'm raw certified, baby. We're good. So
That's awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good show. Thank you to Danny. Thank you to our audience. Thank you for commenting and asking questions and interacting with us. It's always fun seeing you guys, especially like seeing new names is fun, but seeing the names I recognize, those always make me really smile.
I know. I'm
yeah.
recognizing certain peeps. It feels good, Moni. So I'm really glad for that. And thank you, everybody. So much love. Thank you so much. And see you the next time, I guess.
See you next time. Gotta like hit all the buttons to make the live stream end. So bye.